World War II was a global conflict that lasted from 1939 to 1945. It began when Germany invaded Poland, causing Britain and France to declare war on Germany. Major battles took place in multiple theatres, including the Pacific, Europe and North Africa. The D-Day invasion of Normandy in 1944 marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. The Battle of Stalingrad turned the tide in favour of the Allies on the Eastern Front. The United States entered the war after the attack on Pearl Harbor by Japan in 1941. The war ended in 1945 with the unconditional surrender of Germany in May and Japan in September. The use of nuclear weapons on Hiroshima and Nagasaki played a crucial role in Japan's decision to surrender. This conflict reshaped international relations and led to the rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. It also set the stage for the Cold War. The war's aftermath influenced the political landscape for decades. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were pivotal events in World War II. On August 6, 1945, the United States dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima. 3 days later, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. These bombings were intended to force Japan to surrender and end the war quickly. In Hiroshima, the bomb killed an estimated 70,000 people instantly. Nagasaki faced similar destruction, with about 40,000 people killed instantly. The total death toll in both cities eventually reached over 200,000. The survivors, known as hibakusha, faced long-term health issues, including cancer and genetic damage. The bombings demonstrated the destructive power of nuclear weapons and their potential to cause massive civilian casualties. Japan's surrender on August 15, 1945, brought an end to World War II. The images and stories from Hiroshima and Nagasaki serve as a stark reminder of the horrors of nuclear war. The Holocaust was one of the darkest chapters in human history. It was the systematic, state-sponsored persecution and murder of 6 million Jews by Nazi Germany. The Nazis, led by Adolf Hitler, believed in the racial superiority of the Aryan race and sought to eliminate Jews and other groups they deemed inferior. In addition to Jews, the Nazis targeted Romani people, disabled individuals, political dissidents, homosexuals and Jehovah's Witnesses. Concentration camps and extermination camps were established across Europe, where millions were subjected to forced labor, starvation, medical experiments and mass executions. The most infamous of these camps was Auschwitz-Birkenau, where over 1 million people were killed. The Holocaust highlighted the dangers of unchecked hatred and totalitarian regimes. The Nuremberg trials held after the war sought to bring Nazi war criminals to justice. The phrase "never again" became a global call to remember and prevent such atrocities in the future. During World War II, several countries interned and deported minority groups considered a threat to national security. In the United States, Japanese Americans were forcibly relocated to internment camps. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066 in 1942, leading to the removal of over 120,000 Japanese Americans from their homes. They were placed in camps with poor living conditions and faced significant loss of property and freedom. In Canada, a similar policy was enacted, uprooting Japanese Canadians and sending them to internment camps in remote areas. Their properties were confiscated and sold, causing long-term economic and social damage. The Soviet Union also engaged in mass deportations under Joseph Stalin's regime, forcibly relocating entire ethnic groups. These groups were accused of collaborating with the enemy and were sent to remote areas in Siberia and Central Asia. The harsh conditions and lack of resources led to high mortality rates. The injustices faced by these minority groups have since been acknowledged, and efforts have been made to provide reparations and formal apologies. However, the scars of these actions remain a painful reminder of the consequences of wartime hysteria and discrimination. Section 5. Japan's actions, Pearl Harbor and the Nanjing Massacre. Japan played a significant role in World War II, with actions that had far-reaching consequences. One of the most notable events was the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. This surprise military strike targeted the United States Pacific Fleet stationed in Hawaii. Another horrific event was the Nanjing Massacre in December 1937. Japanese forces committed widespread atrocities, including mass executions, rape and looting. These events are stark reminders of the devastating effects of war. Section 6. The suffering of non-combatants and the concept of total war. World War II introduced the concept of total war, blurring the lines between combatants and non-combatants. Civilians became direct targets, suffering immensely. Cities were bombed, populations displaced, and resources scarce. Strategic bombings by both Axis and Allied powers devastated civilian areas. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are prime examples. The war caused large-scale displacement, with millions forced to flee. Women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers. The suffering underscored the need for international laws to protect non-combatants.
The collapse of European empires and the rise of superpowers. World War II led to the collapse of European empires and the rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. The war weakened colonial powers, leading to decolonization. New nations emerged in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. The United States emerged as a dominant global power. The Soviet Union also became a superpower. This rivalry led to the Cold War. The collapse of empires transformed global politics.
Section 8. The creation of modern international institutions. The aftermath of World War II saw the creation of modern international institutions aimed at preventing future conflicts and promoting global cooperation. The most significant of these was the United Nations, established in 1945. The UN was designed to provide a platform for dialogue and to address issues of peace, security and human rights. The UN's formation was driven by the desire to avoid another catastrophic war. It was based on the principles of collective security and international law. The UN Charter outlined the organization's goals, including maintaining international peace, promoting social progress and protecting human rights. Another important institution was the International Monetary Fund. Another important institution was the World Bank, established to promote economic stability and development. These institutions aimed to rebuild war-torn economies and prevent economic crises that could lead to conflict. The establishment of these institutions marked a significant shift in global governance, providing frameworks for international cooperation and conflict resolution. The creation of modern international institutions in the post-war period laid the foundation for a more interconnected and cooperative world. Section 9. Wartime technologies and their peacetime influence. World War II spurred numerous technological advancements that had a lasting impact on peacetime life. The war accelerated innovation and led to the development of new technologies that transformed various aspects of society. One of the most significant technological developments was in the field of medicine. The war led to improvements in surgical techniques, the use of antibiotics like penicillin, and advancements in medical equipment. These innovations saved countless lives during the war and had lasting benefits for civilian healthcare. In the realm of transportation, the war saw advancements in aviation and vehicle design. The development of jet engines and improvements in aircraft technology revolutionized air travel. Communication technologies also saw significant advancements with the development of radar and improvements in radio communication. These technologies were adapted for civilian use, leading to the growth of commercial broadcasting and the telecommunications industry. The influence of wartime technologies on peacetime life was profound, improving quality of life and paving the way for further technological progress. These advancements had far-reaching effects on healthcare, transportation, communication, and many other fields. Section 10. Long-term effects of the war on global politics and daily life. The long-term effects of World War II on global politics and daily life are still evident today. The war reshaped international relations, leading to the establishment of new alliances and conflicts. The rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers created a bipolar world order that defined much of the 20th century. The Cold War, which emerged from the post-war rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, influenced global politics for decades. It led to various proxy wars, an arms race, and significant political and military tensions. On a societal level, the war brought significant changes to daily life, including the role of women in the workforce. The war effort had necessitated the involvement of women in industries and services traditionally dominated by men, laying the groundwork for future movements toward gender equality. The legacy of World War II continues to shape the modern world in numerous ways, from international politics to social norms and cultural expressions. Understanding this legacy is crucial for addressing current global challenges and building a more just and peaceful world.